welcome to the Curation Corner, a show about curation of posts on the platform. We'll be talking about what curators look for when curating posts. It's an opportunity to learn how to improve your posts, and today we're going to welcome Ingenuity from the Alliance.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be in your part of the planet.
And how are you today, Artemis North?
I'm not bad at all.
So I guess you and I'll host and we'll have Ingen as our guest. How's that sound?
Well, I suppose we could do it good that way. It is good to see him here, though, but easy, Ingen. We just never know what you're going to do next.
Yeah, I'm pretty unpredictable. Do a lot of random stuff.
And Ingen's actually probably going to be making an announcement towards the end of the show, unless he wants to make it now.
You guys like hanging out with me and Shadow and Artemis? Just out of curiosity. It just so happens that last week I got the question on Shadow and said, hey, we should talk about me having a show. So, yes, look for that to unfold. It will be on Fridays in the afternoon. We're shooting for 1 to 2 called Words with Witty. The first episode may or may not happen this week. I have to get the kinks worked out and set up all the details with DLive and OBS and so on and so forth. Do some practice runs, but yeah, it'll be fun. Yes, it will be awesome, Sarah. So you can look forward to that if you want to come hang out with me. I always have something weird to say, just random stuff.
So that's 1 to 2 Central Time. That would be 2 to 3
yes, Central Time.
Eastern Time. Should be fun.
Try to keep it clean.
Well, within reason.
You still have to have some fun, though.
Always do, Artemis. Always do.
For sure. So, Artemis, you managed to get out of Fiber Ramble just before we started.
Yes. I found some really great posts this week, and I think it's going to be a good one. What about you, Shadows?
Well, I've been pretty slack. I didn't get a ramble out this week, but I've got a couple of posts that we'll have a look at some point. So maybe what we'll do is let Ingen start off.
You slacking, Shadow, and get out that whip and start the cracking.
Well, I did get some posts out. I just didn't get a ramble out.
Okay.
I took up some of your time yesterday.
Yes, I have to blame Snook. She took up some of my time.
Well, there's different ways people go about curating. Curating itself, I don't know if some people are familiar with it, what exactly it is. It's getting a little bit of a kickback on helping an author get a little bit more noticed and just helping them along their way. True curation, if you want to be greedy about it, would not involve bringing any more notice to them other than you have already noticed yourself, because that would reduce your curation rewards. But us good curators that like to help people and that kind of thing, we often do curation posts like Artemis was saying. She has her Fiber Ramble, and Shadow does her ramble, and I do one specifically for Alliance members that has something to do with being fantastic. I don't know, I've been changing it up every week, but it seems to be a good thing and people are liking it.
Yeah, actually, you kind of got it backwards on the meaning of curation. Or actually, the platform has it backwards, because the platform.
Yeah, the platform does have it backwards. That's what I'm saying.
The actual way of curating is selecting good content and bringing it to notice. Where on the platform, it's who can vote first, and often, or whatever.
Yes, indeed.
So,
believe it or not, re-steaming actually hinders your curation rewards, which I don't think should be the case. I think if that's something that maybe we can talk about on Words with Witty, re-steaming rewards and stuff like that. But maybe it should add to your curation. I don't know, but the more people vote, the less your curation is, which is unfortunate. I think the author should maybe get a little less the higher the value of the post, but that's just me.
His area, it's backwards in the sense that curation on here is just putting a vote on. You know, if we do it just pure, it's how fast can you vote on a post that might, end up getting good rewards. Where in the rest of the world, when you curate something, you actually sift through the content, you find good content, and you bring it forward. The vote doesn't actually bring it forward, so that makes it backwards. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, Jan's put it really well. The rewards are chased here more than the content.
Exactly.
So the people that are
Like
doing the manual curation, like Engine and Artemis and I and others, we're switching it back around.
Kitty made a really good point. She really hates it. Stink. I like that. Use the word curation for upvotes. It's a misappropriation of the word.
I agree.
It should be like shared rewards or something instead of curation.
Yeah, exactly. So, Engine, you focus primarily on the members of the Alliance. How many members are in the Alliance now?
A little over 200. 204 to be exact. Active members. Some are out a couple weeks. Some are strictly investors and have given delegations to the Alliance or funnel funds to it. There's always room for one more. You have to go apply, though. I can't be treating people different. So if Kitty's handy, maybe she can pull a link up really quick to that. But yes, I curate mainly family members because that's my family. It's a organization, group, community, whatever you want to call it, that I started here on the Steam blockchain, primarily because I am a curator like Artemis and Shadow, and I strive to find quality content. And part of being in the Alliance is that you have to be, a certain level of quality. And so I'm kind of proud when I curate all these people posts, like with that post right there. There's so many out there. It's hard to pick and choose which ones. I mean, typically the ones that go in the fantastic posts are the ones that I enjoyed the most. And you'll find often, if you go through the last three, it's posts that make me feel good. That's what attracts me. Whatever gives me the feel goods. Like one in particular, I'll grab the link for that real quick. It was written by Blue Light Bandit.
I'll just comment too, his area is also a curator in the manual sense. She does the creatives curation over at MSP.
Yes, for the music.
And the music.
Okay, Blue Light Bandit. I got the feel goods really, really wholeheartedly on this particular post, and it's in the fantastic one. And what it is, it's about this man who he believes is the most generous man on earth, and he gives an example of it that was widely touted in his area. But this lady who got her tip jar robbed, and the man goes in and he hears about it. He's like, well, what happened? This blah, 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 and they robbed me. And he says, well, how much was in there? And he's like, well, it wasn't that much. It was only $15. So the man plops out $40 and says, I don't want all kinds of recognition for it. I just want, I want you to get your just desserts. And as the story goes on, it turns out that it got popularized on Facebook, and there was even a television coverage on it. And turns out, in the end, if you read the article, that it was his dad, which, kind of gave me a little teary eye. I was like, oh, that's like the sweetest thing I've ever read in my life. So, yeah, it's one of those articles that gave me the feel-goods. And so, please go visit it. Give it a good read. Get all the details for yourself. That's how I go about my curation, is stuff that makes me feel good. Because there's a lot of negativity out there, especially if you pay attention to the news on television. We won't go there, but so it's good to see positive things on this blockchain. So I do my best to bring them forward and give them more attention.
So was there any other aspects of that post that drew your attention to even get you reading it?
Initially, it was the title. I mean, I was hoping it was going to give me the feel good, most generous man on earth. And once I got into it, the first line says the title of this post is not exaggerated even in the slightest. The paragraphs themselves aren't overly long. No spelling errors, nothing like that. It kept me reading. It flowed well. So, yeah, it's definitely worth the
Yeah,
25, 30, 40 cents. I don't know, whatever I gave it. Much as I could, anyway.
just scanning down it, he hasn't done any fancy formatting, which isn't really necessary, but it's a good clean format. And you're right, the posts are not overly, or the paragraphs are not overly long.
And the photographs are in focus. That's something that kind of bothers me. Is we have digital cameras. Why would you post a photograph that's not in focus?
Right? Typically, he's not a photographer. Every now and then, he'll do some shots of, some of his guns or police work or something. That's mainly his niche. Seems to be on the platform. So this kind of threw me off to see something like this coming from him. So that's another thing too. When people kind of go out of their element and post something that they normally wouldn't post, that tends to attract my attention. I don't know why. I guess it's like you see all these monarch butterflies, and then all of a sudden there's a Luna moth flying. You're like, oh wow, that's neat. What's that all about?
Kitty Girls made the comment that for artistic purposes, she's posted not in focus photos intentionally, like in the recent poetry post on peonies. And yeah, sometimes that does fit in a post.
Well, that's very true. I mean, sometimes you just get one shot and then they're gone. But we usually say, well, yeah, okay, this isn't the best photograph, but here it is.
Azaria, I agree. That's what I'd like of me. Very blurry.
Get some of those little checkerboard blurs coming up at you.
That works perfect.
So
Sunspots and
I have a question for you, Engine. What, say, over the past 6 months, if you could say one post stands out in your mind the most, what would it be?
One post?
Oh my.
It was a post by 56 North. He had taken a trip out to the Orient, and he's a photographer himself, so he does some amazing photography. But unlike a lot of the photographers out here on the blockchain, he will put in 1,000 words for every picture, and he did this one about the Hanging Gardens, and it was just fantastic. He did it. Some day shots, different angles, some night shots when it was all lit up. Oh, God, yeah, it was beautiful. Do you remember it? Anybody? If not, I mean, I could try to find it, but yeah, that post still gets me because, it was a family vacation, and, he put his heart into it, and you could tell that he took his time to get some good shots of all those trees and in the ground. It was just awesome.
He's done some great posts, so for that one to stand out, it's got to be phenomenal.
Yeah, you're right. He does.
Another reason is I want to go there. I mean, I've seen it, and it's just like, oh, God. So it's on my bucket list, my to-do list, whatever you want to call it, of places to visit. So, because I personally never seen anything like it, and that's another reason it stands out, I suppose.
So you look for the feel good. Is there any other aspect that drives your attention when you're curating the Alliance posts?
Well, being an English major, I tend to lean heavily on obviously good grammar, spelling, proper formation of a paragraph, that kind of thing. I do have leniency for people that are in other countries. I know their English isn't all that great sometimes. The translation can be lost, but that's mainly what I look for. That's where the quality is, in my opinion. And if you're going to go out here and write a professional blog and make money on it, not necessarily on Steam it, and you want respect of the community and to gain a lot of followers, even sponsors, that kind of thing, you're going to have to be at the top of your game. You're going to have to know a paragraph is, you know, what's the difference between a period and a comma, a dash and a slash, stuff like that. Yeah, there's a few cookies in here, but
And
But
capsule
I'm
corn
all about
cookies.
pretty. The prettier it is, the more I'm gonna like it. So if it's pretty and it's got the feel goods,
So formatting does matter then.
to me, yes, it does quite a bit. It's not number one on the list, but it's, you know, two or three.
I have to point out here because I believe that what you guys have set up in the classroom, which is the initial part of the initial stages of becoming an Alliance member, is that you're actually helping people, tutoring people to create good quality posts. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. A lot of people that come and apply for the Alliance, their quality isn't up to par, but they do have the motivation and potential to get there, and that's why the classroom is part of the process for some people. Some people, their quality is already there, and you know they've established themselves as a decent writer or creator, so they'll go straight to the playground and learn about how to engage with us. But yes, the classroom, we'll teach them about plagiarism, which is huge. We definitely frown upon that. We've had a couple people get in trouble with that, and there's been a few members that have been kicked that started it, and then we got them to stop, and they started it back again. Hang on one second.
Engine's got a ghost coming to visit him.
Or one of his little cutie pies?
This is true.
Sorry about that. The dog was scratching at my door over here, and it was really annoying. But yes, the classroom, it seems to be working out pretty well. We got Zen Art in there right now. She's our headmaster, I guess you want to call it, and there's several other people over there from the Alliance that they themselves went through the process, so they know how it works. And I've been helping quite a few people climb the ranks, I guess you could say, make them better and themselves and better for Steam as a whole. Because we want this a nice place where people come and look for something. It's going to be worth their time, not some crappy meme or video that they can find on YouTube. you know.
So you were talking about the plagiarism. So if you catch somebody that's done plagiarism or copy paste, I take it that you don't ban right away. So what do you do?
Initially, we'll approach them and we'll say, "Hey, did you know?" Because a lot of times they don't even know it's wrong. They're like, "Oh, wait, what? That's plagiarism." Yeah, and it's frowned upon. You can't really do that. In some countries, you'll get in serious trouble. Maybe even a lawsuit, and you'll go to jail and have just hundreds of thousands of dollars to maybe even millions of dollars of fines, depending on what you're stealing. People own that content. And they're like, oh, wow. So some of them, they really don't know. Some of them, they're just trying to make a quick buck, and we tell them, still, you can't do that. And we try to school them first, and if they don't accept the tutoring or the schooling, whatever you want to call it, then that's when we say, hey, that's not what we're about. Sorry, but you got to go.
So how often have you had to go to the point of kicking somebody for it?
From the Alliance itself, members that have gotten in, we've only kicked 3 people for plagiarism. Over the span of close to, we'll be going on a year at the end of August since the Alliance was created. So that's actually pretty decent because, we filter people and we don't want that to begin with. So 3 out of, I'd say there have been about 500 since the beginning that have come and gone. Probably 150 that are solid and have stayed since.
Yeah, Kitty girl, you make a good point there. She says she's amazed that anyone who has made it all the way through the process would plagiarize.
Well, initially that wasn't there. With the classroom and the playground, that was just instilled about 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Shortly after I became a witness, I started changing all kinds of stuff around. And before it was just, hey, come join us on our server. We're the Alliance. Simple as that. We looked at people and then we're like, oh wait, we need to be a little more selective. So we set up kind of a leadership council to where people had to be referred. And some people that were getting referred were okay, and they were like, look, we really don't want to vote on this crap, so we're going to have more rules in place. And that's when we came up with the syndicates, where we kind of split up subgroups to where people that weren't quite up to par yet, we would put them into syndicates, and then, if they continued to maintain their course and became, real good quality creators, we'd bring them into what we called the core. Back about 4 or 5 months ago, we got rid of the core altogether, and we instated the classroom and the playground where people, learn how to become quality and learn how to engage. And that's the big thing, is the playground right there, is engaging on Steam. Because people put out posts and they want to know that people are reading it. So one thing that we strive to do is, we get out there, comment when we can, vote when we can, redeem when we can, stuff like that. It's the engagement that gives people the motivation to keep going. And retention is, I'm not going to lie, it's not very good on the Steam blockchain. The last I checked, it was at 7%. 7%, that means 7 out of every 100 people that join today are not going to be here in the next month.
Yeah, and a big part of that problem is the price of Steam itself. People get discouraged pretty quickly, although they don't realize that now actually is the time to be posting. I believe I came in pretty well at the beginning of the Alliance. In fact,
Yeah,
I think
you
it
were
was
one of our
just...
first members.
Yeah, I think so. You
You
just
just
went and looked at
started
my
this
blog.
server. This server wasn't up very long either. I mean, you just started the Pimp Your Post Thursday and everything. So we've grown together, Shadow.
We have. Yeah, I remember you went and looked at my blog and come back and said, yeah, we'll take you. And then it was after that you kind of brought in the voting council.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think the changes that you've made to the Alliance are really a service to the entire platform. And I have to admit, as an Alliance member, that I've really started to think of it as a family. So I really love that analogy, calling the Alliance a family, because it really is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, part of the process, with that whole engagement, you really get to know people, and sometimes on a more personal level than you're expecting. You'll see a post from someone and be like, wow, I can really relate to that. I'm glad I found it. And the chatter in the castle, sometimes it gets personal. I'd like to think people can come to me or anybody else in there with any questions or problems or concerns and that kind of thing. We all I've tried to get people to link arms and move as one unit, as a big family. We definitely got to spread the love. There's not enough of that around. I forget who the poster was. It was Steamflow. One of our members made a post the other day about joy and how the best way for joy to multiply is to divide it and share it with others.
Well, I tend to think the very fact that there's not a lot of dysfunction within that family is probably about the best you're going to attain. You're never going to get everybody to move completely in one direction. But if they're not fighting, then there's probably progress.
Yes, that post right there. Thank you for bringing it up. And yes, not everybody is going to go the same direction at the same time. That's a good point. But we all come together when we need to. I mean, look at like a different contests people have. That's probably one of the bigger things we've been able to do, is people that nominate this or nominate that, or we came together several weeks ago for somebody that needed to get some equipment. Uh, it's just great. Everybody helped each other out, and I really can't ask for much more than that.
Very true. So tell us about this post, Agent.
This is a post from a guy from India. Remember I was saying earlier how some of the English gets broken, so don't mind that. His English isn't extremely great. But the post itself and the sentiment behind it is wonderful. He's got a quote from Mark Twain in there, I think. I forget somebody else. But, no, yeah. What I was saying was there's not enough love around and joy. And according to Steamflow, he says, happiness is the key to success. Joy is part of being happy.
Well, very true. He says, a joyful person always emits positive vibes. as they understand the life and live it purposefully and gracefully.
Yep. The quote from Mark Twain that caught my attention that he put in there was, "To get the full value of joy, you must have someone to divide it." He didn't complete it, but it should be someone to divide it with. And which is so true. I mean, you could be the happiest person in the world, just full of love, but it doesn't really matter if you don't share it with anyone. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the way I go about curation. There's so much good stuff out there, and if other people don't see it, it's not going to do a whole lot of good just sitting there in the water sinking. And that's what I try to do, is give it a life preserver and bring it back up to the top.
And Katrina's pointing out you want to share it with someone. Yep, that was me and Whistler, loving my solo time, yet wanting to share it with y'all.
Yes, that was awesome. And that's her happy place over there in Whistler. She put out a couple posts. I don't know if y'all saw them or not, but they're definitely worth going, and it'll give you a good breath of fresh air, that's for sure. Even some music. Well, evening art, hush up. I have that on my list. It's open right now, and I was going to say something about it. But yes, Glob of Love.
Actually, go right ahead, because that was on my list as well. So go right ahead there, Engine.
Yeah, Snook is all over the map with different posts and the way she goes about it. She likes to make people laugh. But one thing I don't think she gives herself enough credit for is her story writing. And she DM'd this to me the other day, and I didn't get a chance to read it until a couple of days ago. And she said, here's a bedtime story for your kids. And I was like, oh, yes. Because she's written a few for me before. Some of them haven't even been posted. But this one was, yeah, a glob of love, like sunshine in a bucket, I think. So I'm not sure. Somebody's comment just kind of cracked me up, gave me the feel good.
Yeah, I really loved her analogy about the glob and the fact that, you can start off with a pea-sized glob and keep adding bits to it, and it becomes even bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I need to get a bigger bucket. Yeah, Jennifer Bailey, she says, that was truly lovely, Snook. Thanks for sharing. It made me feel very summery and sunshiny. And I felt the same way. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. I don't think I've commented on it, Snook. I'm sorry about that, but I have read it. It's great. And I will read it to my girls.
And, again, she's used really nice formatting. It's well laid out. There's not long paragraphs. In fact, she did pretty much one sentence per paragraph, which, if you're aiming towards a young readership, is actually a good thing.
Yeah, it's very clean too. I like to fully justify it personally when it comes to the edges, and it's nice and sharp, and I don't know, it's just a personal thing. Some people like it centered, some people like it pulled to the left, but...
And she's picked some nice, bright pictures that convey the love.
Summer colors. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm blushing now.
Well, that just matches some of the pictures that you made such a good choice of.
Thank you.
No,
Faith
thought it
in
was
all good
really
things
well
in
written.
time will be returned if you sent out enough love into your world.
And Snook is certainly proof of that. Her new show, or her new podcast, if you need to laugh, just go see her new podcast. Pants are optional.
Yes, that is hilarious. Oh. That's why I said she's all over the place. She does the karaoke, and she does, the U-logs, or just random rants about her life. Some of them are touching, some of them are comical, and she's got this just insanely funny pants are optional thing. It says right on her profile too, I just love to make people laugh, so she's holding true, definitely.
Yeah, she certainly does a good job of that. And well done with the post, a glob of love.
Thank you very much. I didn't know you guys were doing this today, but thank you.
It was a toss-up, Snook. I was either going to put that one or promote your pants are optional, and two pants are optional, because I don't think a lot of people know about it yet. So.
There is a channel in here that all the episodes will be in, so you can never lose out on them.
Woo!
Yeah, I did Shadows yesterday, and actually it turned out really good. So that'll be in a couple of weeks.
You are good. You were able to get more than yes or no or 3-word answers.
That was not easy.
My sister is always concise and to the point, and then there's other times.
Yeah, there are times you can't shut me up.
Not on camera.
And no, I'm not on camera. So, Artemis, which post out of your fiber ramble that you've just put out would you like to highlight?
Well, just one moment. I've got the link here, but I have to push to talk, so just a sec.
You forgot to push.
I do sometimes forget to push, and I'll be talking away and going, well, why is nobody hearing me? But this is one of the Needlework Monday crew. This is how I met her. And I think I can pronounce her name now, Newman Salva. Her first name is Simone. She's been to our Creatives Coffee Hour, and I've been following her every week when she puts out her posts. She's a very talented woman. But this week in particular, I had to promote the heck out of her because she made me open my eyes. I love to be educated, and I love people who make me think. And she opened my eyes to my feelings as to why the needle arts aren't really recognized as arts. She pointed out all of the past and how needle arts have been associated with women over the years. And just it was a feel-good post, and it was an empowering post. And her photography and her work is just, it speaks for itself.
Who was that? Newman Salva?
Yes. I'm not sure where she's from, but English is definitely her second language. So kudos to her because her writing is actually quite good.
Now, is this the one that got curried?
Yes, she got curried yesterday. That was wonderful.
And
Speaking of curious, I think she's been following me around. Somebody from there has. There's been a lot of posts lately that I've seen that all of a sudden get carried within a short time after that. I'm not complaining. I think it's great.
You're going to have people bribing you now, Engine.
Yeah. Will you please receive my post?
But that's what happens when you become a curator and you start to become known. And then people start realizing, wow, this is good stuff. And maybe you've caught someone's eye, Engine.
Yeah, that's what I said in Fantastic. I said that's a good thing. It means we are the quality that the platform desires. We're not just carrying. There's been several that don't get spoken of. They've been hit by OCD curators, which we actually have a few of those in the alliance.
So I'm just scanning down through this post here. So what she's done is she's created a crocheted sculpture, right?
Yes, she's taken old paintbrushes and she's put them together in such a way and created some free-form crochet, which is just simply crocheting what you feel, and put it all together in a sculpture that represents the empowerment of needle artists.
Very creative, very well laid out.
She really is. Over the time that I've been following her, she's made mistakes and highlighted them and said, look, this is what I did. But it's the way that she fixes them that's very inspiring. And she, I think, sometimes is her own worst critic, but she's truly an artist.
Now, the only criticism I would have of this post, and of course it's my favorite criticism, is she's got a couple of paragraphs that are overly long to start with. She hasn't put some line breaks between some of the paragraphs, and she could use knowing the markup to do titles, subtitles. But other than that, it works beautiful.
That's what the subtitles is what's getting me.
Well, she's got one there that it looks as though it's a subtitle, but she didn't use the markdown on it in order to make it bold and larger.
The context.
Correct.
And that's totally true. I notice that those things before I curate it, but sometimes the content just overpowers that, doesn't it?
Oh, I agree.
Very
You know,
true.
that's the time that you maybe could make a comment that, you know, you might want to fix these up, or if you'd like some help with markdown, let us know.
That's a good idea. I was actually hoping to talk to her on Discord about it. And that's another question is, what would be the best way, do you people think, to approach someone that you see good work coming from, but it could be better, but you don't want to offend them? What would you say?
Well, you don't want to ask me that question.
Why not,
Why,
Snook?
why
Be a
is
little
that,
more abrasive.
Snook?
Because I don't sugarcoat things. I'd be like, so would you like some help on your formatting? That's pretty much what I'd say. I love your post. I love everything about it. Would you like a little help on your formatting? Or
And
maybe,
actually,
or maybe use the word care. Would you care to learn more about formatting?
Trust you, Snook, to the point. And actually, that's not a bad idea. I guess sometimes our own personal feelings go into it, and you don't want to offend people. People pleasers, right?
Yeah, but I'd rather have somebody tell me straight out what do you, I don't like having to read between the lines because I usually don't get what they're trying to tell me. So I'd rather have somebody just tell me straight out, I'm here to help you, but
and
Yeah, I
Kitty Girls
prefer
also
looking at it as,
suggested if you ever wish to streamline your formatting, I would be happy to help.
yeah, I look at it more as being diplomatic than you know, straightforward. Not necessarily sugar-coated, but still to the point.
And Damien has very correctly said people do tend to get upset when you point out grammar, spelling, and formatting issues. Also, when they do basic writing don'ts.
Yeah, I straight up asked them. I was like, are you aware that you can, make your titles bold or make them bigger or stuff like that? And sometimes they don't. And they're like, no, how do I do that? It's real simple. Or are you aware that you can make that link a hyperlink instead of pasting the whole link in there, making it a little cleaner? Grammar Nazi. I don't not know what you talk about.
I love that example of let's eat grandma. Let's eat grandma.
I helped my cousin Jack off a horse versus I helped my cousin Jack off a horse. Punctuation is important.
Trust Handicap to come up with that one.
I got a feel good if you want to see it.
Okay.
You always
This
kind of
this is in the
hesitate when Engine says that, don't you?
oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay, let
you
me
know.
rephrase that. This post gave me the feel goods. How about that? This is a member who recently came through the classroom, got their posts cleaned up, well formatted, and she writes this great story. She's a homesteader. I don't know if there's any homesteaders out here, but this particular story, it can appeal to the adults, the kid in you. This is something you could even maybe read as a story. Squishy Squid. She's pretty good. And when she came to us, she had a few. I don't know. She was writing good, but it didn't look as good as it could. She had a lot of potential, and she is definitely reaching that now.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that.
So yes, I have to throw that out there, get her some more attention because I think she deserves it.
She's got some beautiful
She's
pictures
worked,
there,
yeah,
too.
she's worked hard.
Engine's perfect proof that curators got to curate.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
And feel
So,
good.
Feel good while we're doing it.
it versus ego. So, Shadows, what about you? What post has really stood out to you recently?
Well,
In the last 6 months.
Engine already caught the one, which was Snooks, but this other one that I have sitting here, I'm just going to get the link. Oh yeah, my computer would decide to slow down right now. It's going to take a moment.
Shadow's been great, though. I made you an officer, by the way, because I really value your input and insight recently. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I noticed that this morning. I woke
Yeah.
up and there's this channel there I hadn't seen before. This actually is one of the people who's currently at the Welcome Wagon. And I went over this post the other day and I really liked it. The pictures are beautiful. Her writing is very descriptive. And she's got some nice formatting in there.
She's got some good teachers over there in Welcome Wagon, that's for sure.
Well, for sure. The peer group over there does a great job of mentoring. And I love this down at the bottom when she's talking about, you know, the paintbrush and the use of sponges, and of course gets all the color in there on the hands.
Are you talking about evening art?
No, this is called Quirky Countess.
Quirky
She's
Countess,
one of the
yes.
new people in the Welcome Wagon.
From the writing, it looks like she might be younger.
It does seem to be, yeah, and very much into art and painting. It's the
Oh,
evening she spent with her girls.
I couldn't figure out what you were talking about, but my Discord wasn't scrolling down.
Ah, you weren't even looking at the link.
That's right.
Yeah, so I was really pleased with this one, and actually it was put out 6 days ago, so there's still time if somebody wants to drop a little bit of upvote love on there. That's always a good thing, and some comments. Yeah, I was really impressed with it, Katrina.
I can see why this post stood out to you. This is a really well done post.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those posts that I don't always come across, but when I do, I really enjoy, because the first sentence led to the second, and on and on and on, and I just kept reading to the end of it, and then I went, oh, she ended it.
Wait, where's the rest? Still want to read some more.
Yeah, I always love those ones. So,
She turned
Can
out
I
to be a
ahead,
ask
pretty good
Sarah.
artist.
an unrelated question? Is anybody else having problems voting at 100%? That it won't take your 100% vote?
Yes.
You have to do like 99 or 98?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, thanks. Oh, mine is not.
That's odd. And I've been doing some 100% votes and didn't run into any problems.
It doesn't
Yeah, I
happen to
haven't had
me
no
all the
problem
time,
either.
but it's happened a few times. It's weird.
It's like the platform saying, no, you can't spend your money.
Oh.
Yeah, every
They
time.
aren't worth 100%. You can only
Right,
give them
that's what
99.
it's like. Okay, fine, 99.
Right.
Then I can just imagine the person going, 99? Really? You couldn't give me 100%?
Right.
Oh, man.
Okay, so Artemis, do you have another one there that you want to share?
I sure do. Now, this is somebody who I would really love to see join the Alliance. It doesn't matter what she posts about. This is related to the Needlework Monday crew again. But every post that she has ever done has been well written, well thought out, and well presented. This is showcasing her incredible talents. She took a photograph of some very common gooseweed, and she loved the way that the shadow looked. So she decided to create an embroidery pattern with it and proceeded to embroider it. Well, then she said that in the second post that I've linked from this one, the second post shows that she's at the doctor's office and she opens up this home decorating book of some sort, magazine, and she looks in there and there's her design that a well-known fabric designer has created and costs an exorbitant amount per meter, and there's her design. So I would say she is definitely on the right track with her creativity. She's very intuitive in everything that she does.
This was just published a couple of days ago. Azaria, this might be one you're interested in. Or maybe she's busy reading it.
Well, that could be.
Sorry, I have to go get ready for work, but I will be right back.
Okay.
No worries, sorry.
That blooming word's getting in your way.
Yeah, quit swearing at us, girl.
Dang nabbit.
I love the fact that she's got so many detailed pictures in this post.
And she doesn't make her posts very, very, really long. She's very conscious of the amount of time that we have to sit and read posts. And what she'll do is she'll split them up into a series. A couple of weeks ago, she was making a pajama shirt for, I believe, maybe her husband. And she was making it out of recycled materials, which was really great. On top of that, she created a Star Trek insignia badge for the pajamas. And she, in the next post, showed us how she made that. Well, I'm a Trekkie, so that really excited me. But every post, she never lets me down.
Yeah, I've noticed you curate her a few times. And she's one of the ones that, one of the challenges you've had with doing the fiber artist is getting people that do good posts as well as good work.
Well, to be a fiber artist, your brain is in working on your art. So you're not always thinking about how you portray it. And as an artist, a creative of any sort, you just want to share that work, which is what Needlework Monday is all about. But I think you're kind of missing it when you're on the Steam platform because let's face it, we also want to earn an income. And I've heard people say, well, I'm not in it for the money. No, we're not. But we're here for a reason. And if we can get a little more income and a little more recognition, all the better while we're sharing. And it would be really nice if we could just stop, take a breath and say, okay, I've done this beautiful work. How can I present it so that the most people possible will come and see it?
That is a key right there to putting out posts, especially for us people that want to do curation. Look at what they put into a post. That's another thing I look for. I didn't really step on it much earlier, but what they put into a post. I mean, they put their heart into it. You can tell they took time finding proper gifs or pictures or however they want to illustrate the emotion of the thing. That's another thing I really look for. It's just one of those slapped together informational jobby jobs that I can find on Wikipedia or something. I'm not really interested in it. But if somebody takes their time, to share maybe some personal experiences, that's really what gets me.
That's so true. And that's another aspect of all of our posts is we're reading your posts. Yes, we want to be educated, but share some of yourself with us. Give us some tidbits here and there. Tell us who you are.
Yes, this is a social network after all. Be social with us.
But not too social.
Yeah, I do like my privacy.
Exactly.
Yes, we don't need to know a bathroom schedule.
Or where you have the dinner.
You don't need to know when I get up in the morning and feel like peeing. How good that feels.
Yeah, I really appreciated that. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was news we needed.
I couldn't help it. Just to make sure people were reading, you know.
But you have to admit, we can all identify with that.
Don't show
I
me
know.
a photo of a dinner that you're having unless you're giving us the recipe to go with it.
Oh, man. And tell me what you thought about the meal, too. I don't just want to see a picture of your plate half-eaten in a few words. That's just, usually won't vote on something like that. But now, yes, if you're like the Kitchen Fairy and you throw a whole recipe out there and it looks just savory and I want to chew through my screen to eat it, but then, yeah, I love those ones. Even though they make me insanely hungry.
Katrina says they're telling us why the dinner was so good, maybe a story about the conversation. You really don't want to know what I talk to myself about, Katrina, while I'm eating.
Or to the cats.
It's just what I was going to say, or to the cats about it. If cats could speak English, they'd have some stories over there, I'm sure.
But as Snook is always telling us, we're a worldwide platform. And what we eat or what we do here in Canada or the United States is interesting to people around the world. I remember back a month or so ago, Water Snake did an amazing post about, I think it was a contest entry, about a traditional Filipino meal. And after leaving a comment, I was able to find out that the pan that he cooked it in was actually a handmade pan hammered together by his father. Just those little tidbits are so interesting to everyone, and I think that we take those things for granted.
This is very true.
Yeah, I seen one about, I'm a big fan of seafood and fish. I forget who it was. Somebody over in Indonesia that made a post about how they fish and how they cook up the fish, and it's totally different than the way I do it, and it still looked insanely good. So, yes, you're definitely spot on with the different cultures and the different way they prepare things.
All right, Injun, you've got the last kick at the can on sharing a post.
The last kick of the can. Okay, let me find something good.
And we're going to remind everybody that tomorrow, Crazy BG Adventure will be doing his show here on the Rambling Radio Network. And that will be at, I've forgotten the time. Artemis, can you remember?
Isn't it 3 o'clock Eastern time?
I believe so. I'd have to look that up to be sure.
Oh, well, we're great promoters.
Are we ever? There it is, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 6 UTC. So yes, same time as this show was today, except it's tomorrow.
And that's crazy.
The Steam Adventure. I haven't seen Crazy around this week. I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, me too. Send a message over there, see how he's doing. Putting you on the spot, Sarah.
I love this post. I love this post.
One person who I don't think gets enough attention is an incredibly engaging Steam peep, whatever you want to call it, Sappy Sarah right there giggling her heart out. Last week she did a post with some gifts and stuff in it that was really neat, and she did another one this week and took us on a little family vacation. Me and Snook and Coffee and her, and I got to be the little brother. Sarah was the big sister, and Coffee was the dad, and Snook was the mom, and Snook looked absolutely fabulous in that swimsuit.
Yeah, I wish.
But it's just a cute little imaginative story that she came up with and played around with. I still don't know the names of the programs she uses. It looks like it's on the picture there, Moment Cam. Some of them are from Bitmoji. It's really neat. I think, Sarah, I seriously think that you could do some really cool kids books. So just make them ebooks or something, sell them for 99 cents on Amazon. I bet you'd sell tons of them just because they're so cute and you have a great mind. Very imaginative. Of course, that's probably why you're a teacher and teach kids to begin with, right? Yeah, there she is.
Snook is hot.
There's Snooky.
I saw that and I was like, oh God.
I have to agree with Ingen on this. She's done a beautiful job, and yeah, could definitely do children's books, doing what she's done here.
I agree. It was an amazing post. And I'd like to know, Engine, have you actually had that mustache since you were a child?
Yeah, since I was 7 years old, it just kind of popped up one day. You know, I'm so manly, it just couldn't avoid itself.
Early developer.
I can just see you running around in your kilt.
Right?
Oh, wicked, wicked, wicked.
Yeah, I don't think Sarah knows how good her posts are when she just lets go and is just herself and just writes from her heart.
And Kitty Girls commented that Ingen is never out of kilter.
Good pun, good pun. I like that one.
So,
Yeah, definitely agree with stuff on that, Sarah. Yeah, I think you should delve more into that. I'd like to see more posts like that come out from you. They're very original. Nobody else out here really is doing that. And there's a few that use the same programs, but nobody's taken a whole story and done it like you've done a few times. It's pretty awesome.
yeah, it's very creative, very well with doing more of. So, just before we wrap up, I want to give the Writer's Block a little bit of a plug here. They're doing a workshop that has character sketches. We did one the other day. The idea is to do a 250-word character sketch using a writer's prompt. And this post that I'm just about to put up will give you the prompt, and we'll have a session with it tomorrow. If anybody wants to join in, they're more than welcome to do so.
Is there an editor's workshop too? This evening?
This evening there is, I believe it's about 6ish Eastern Daylight Time.
Oh,
Editing 101.
That's tonight?
Yes, around 6 Eastern.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's not bad timing, Yidneth. We're just wrapping up here, so anybody that wants to go and listen in on Yidneth can do that as well, or you can hang here for an after chat. And Artemis, I welcomed. You can finish.
Well, I'd like to thank Engine for coming and talking with us today. We really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
And thank you to everyone else for coming and chiming in. I think we are going to have a lot of fun doing this show. So from Shadows Pub in Artemis North, this is the Curation Corner. We'll see you next week. Oh, and goodbye, Wilma.
See you, Wilma.
Bye, Mama.
Bye.